Hey guys, in this video we are in Chapter 7 on trigonometric identities and equations, and we're working through Section 5, which is solving those trigonometric equations. And we're going through problem 43, which says solve exactly on the interval from 0 to 2 pi. Use the quadratic formula if the equation doesn't factor. We're given sine squared of x minus 2 sine of x minus 4. So the first thing we want to do is try and factor it. So we multiply this a term times this c term. We get 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And we want to find factors of negative 4 that are going to add up to negative 2, excuse me. And when we look at the factors, we notice that none of these factors are going to add up to negative 2, so we can't factor. So that means we need the quadratic formula. So what's the quadratic formula? We have x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, where the general equation is going to be a times x squared plus b times x plus c equals 0. Now we notice that we have a sine squared minus 2 sine minus 4. So what we can actually do is effectively have an x stand in for a sine of x. So here we have, when we translate this, we'll have our sine squared of x become a functional x squared, and we'll have here it become an x, and here it will become a 4. Now we want to remember later that this is going to still be a sine x, but now we can use this equation with our a as 1, b as negative 2, and c as negative 4 to plug into our equation here. So we'll get that this x, which is really going to be a sine of x, is equal to negative b, which is our b, negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, negative 2 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is a negative 4, all over 2 times a, which is 1. And when we go ahead and simplify this, we're going to get a positive 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus a negative, so it's going to be positive 16 all over 2. And simplifying even further, we're going to get 1 plus or minus the square root. Sorry, not the square root there. When we have this is going to become a square root of 20, which when we simplify that, that's going to become 2 root 5. So we'll have, and then that will be divided by 2, so we'll be left with the square root of 5 here. And that's going to be our x, or our sine of x, really. So now we have sine of x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 5. And now we want to solve for x. One thing we want to stop and ask ourselves, what's the range of sine over x? What values does it take on? Sine of x, we know, oscillates. It's going to start at the origin, and it goes like this, and it's going to bounce back and forth between its positive and negative amplitude. Its amplitude is 1 here, so we're going to be a positive 1 and a negative 1. So we want to find where the sine of x, we want to find an x where the value we'll get for sine is going to be 1 plus or minus the square root of 5. Well, we know that this number has to be in between 1 and negative 1. Is it? It's not. So since 1, let's write that here, since 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 is not in between negative 1 and 1, there are no solutions. And that's your answer. I hope you found this video really helpful. The concepts we covered in this video are true no matter what pre-calculus class you take, and the examples I cover are from this textbook right here. And remember, if you're a Baylor student currently enrolled, there is free tutoring on the first floor of Sidrich. You can create a one-on-one appointment online or drop in anytime during our business hours. Please visit our website, www.baylor.edu/tutoring, for more details. Sic 'em Bears.